Again, we're muted.
Oh,
That whole.
that whole thing.
Oh, no.
All right, I get to say it all again. Welcome, everybody here, doing a mic check. Julie, can you hear? JC, can you hear? Yes, thumbs up. Welcome, right on, lots of thumbs.
Thanks.
Some of us were here at the Colorado Department of Ag for training earlier, so we were doing this meeting hybrid. A few of us were able to join for a comment training this morning with some of the folks from the Colorado Department of Ag. Looks like some folks will be joining us as we're going. We have a small showing right now, but this is the Colorado Agriculture Behavioral Health Working Group. We have translation available. Our translator should be online, and I'm going to give them a moment to introduce himself and take it away. Consuelo.
Hi, yes, my name is Consuelo. I'll be your Spanish interpreter. Yo soy Consuelo, voy a ser la intérprete de español. Y para poder acceder a la interpretación en español, van a ver, todavía no lo inician, pero en cuanto inicien la interpretación, van a ver un globo en la parte baja de su pantalla. Le van a dar clic a ese globo, van a elegir, ahí les va a salir interpretación de idiomas. Elijan español. Si quieren escuchar tanto en inglés como en español, van a presionar ya nada más done. Que quiere decir hecho, y si quieren nada más escuchar únicamente en español, entonces pongan que únicamente quieren escuchar en español, denle clic a Done y con eso van a poder empezar a escuchar la interpretación de esta reunión. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Consuelo. And I did just get a message that a couple of people were trying to log on and the link said invalid. So I think we'll try and send out a new link to the working group to make sure that everybody that wants to join is able to. So if everybody wants to hold, oh, there's Jacob, looks like he got on. And I don't know if there was somebody else that was trying to get on, but we'll give just a second to see if anybody else that couldn't get on needs to. If you haven't had a chance to pull up the agenda or review the last meeting's notes, feel free to do that. We're gonna need to approve them here at the end of this intro. But for anybody joining from the public for this call, there is a Q&A function at the bottom of the call that you're welcome to submit questions or comments throughout the call. We should have a few minutes at the end of the call to also field questions live if you have a specific question for anybody on the working group or about something that's discussed. You should have an opportunity to do that, but the Q&A is available through the whole meeting. There's also a website through the Colorado Department of Agriculture for this committee that you can learn more, or this working group, that you can learn more about the group and submit questions there anytime that you have questions between now and our next meeting. So I did see MJ get on, didn't I? And did she?
She was.
Hop off? Oh, she's back. You're back.
Yeah, I'm here. The camera's just
okay.
It's freezing. Yep.
Oh, excellent. Well, let's do some quick member introductions. They don't even have to be that quick. We've got some time. We're going to be joined by some guests from the CDA today. But first, just wanted to do some quick check-ins with folks. And on here, if you could state your name for anybody that might be listening from the community, where you're joining from. And then this morning we did a comment training here at the CDA. If you're familiar with COMET, maybe you could speak to the value that you think COMET brings to the agriculture community and what we're doing here. But if not, if there's another training that you're a part of or that you've experienced that you think might be valuable for us to discuss, or get somebody that does that training to come and talk to us about it, please share that. We are definitely in the exploration mode of how do we get training to people across the state, and what are some of the best trainings that we've come across that we think really impact the behavioral health of folks across Colorado working in agriculture in positive ways. So I'll get started on introductions and then we can go around folks that are here in this room. And then maybe we'll jump to folks that are joining us online. So my name is Clinton Wilson. Today I'm joining from the Department of Agriculture office, but I live in Fort Collins, work for Colorado State University as part of the Agribility team. I am the chair of this group as a member of Rocky Mountain Farmers Union, representing Farmers Union. And I have a small farm up north of Fort Collins that I call home, but office out of CSU in Fort Collins. I do appreciate the COMET training, the one that we did this morning, because I think that as far as all the trainings I've been a part of, it's the one that relates to anybody. Anybody can use it. It's very approachable. It's not super technical, and you don't have to have a lot of insider information. I just really appreciate how people have been able to engage it in all situations. So I'm going to pass it to my left to Tim, and then when we come back around to you guys, we have some guests that are here with us. If you guys want to join in and introduce yourself and say where you're from, and then we'll obviously hear from you later. So, Tim.
Yeah, Tim Miller, Colorado Farm Bureau, State Policy Director. I live in Arvada, and I'm also here at the CDA office in Broomfield. I thought I participated in this morning's training. I thought it was very, very good, and I'm still processing a lot of it. But in terms of just prompts and questions that advice really actually just kind of like what you can bring forward if you're if you have a colleague or a friend or even a family member who are struggling. I thought it gave some really good tips and just how to proceed and have those discussions in a very gentle and a not as invasive manner. And I think we get tripped up on those things where you get to a point where you don't want to necessarily push it and have them respond in a very abrupt or none of your business kind of way. But this was really good and helpful, and I recommend it for anybody, and I hope I can bring this forward to some of our membership at Farm Bureau as well.
I'm Chad Resnichek. I'm with Colorado State University Extension Behavioral Health and Colorado Agribility. Obviously here in the CDA office today. My regular home is in Johnstown. And much like Clinton mentioned, I believe in the accessibility of COMET. I think it's a great sort of entry and a very foundational way of empowering people to look at how you can make a difference just by virtue of connecting and valuing other people. So with that, I'll pass it on to Rosie.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Rosie Skovron. I'm the program assistant here at CDA in our Drought and Climate Resilience office. And I help do administrative tasks for this group. I also got to participate in the training this morning. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is the idea that like the potential positive impact that you might have on someone by pushing them a little bit and asking more questions far outweighs the potential negative of, oh, I'm like overstepping, or there's some societal norm that I think I'm crossing. That pales in comparison to the good that you might be able to do. Pass it to Robert.
Thanks, Rosie. Hi, everybody. Robert Sakata. I'm the Ag Water Policy Advisor here at the Department of Ag, and I have the pleasure and honor of helping with the work group process. Thanks to Chad and thanks to Clinton. That training was really amazing, and being the typical male farmer who's not in touch with his feelings, all I can say was that it gave me goosebumps. And you know why it gave me goosebumps? Couldn't really figure that out, but it was really, really touched me and did make me feel a little bit more comfortable with hopefully approaching people and letting people know that they're not alone. So thank you so much. And I'll pass it on to our guest.
Thanks. I am Aberle, and I am here on behalf of the Lift the Label campaign. I don't know why it logged me in as Rosie, but
I just gave you my link.
That's the black box. So we are here, and I'll let Shadia introduce herself in a moment. We're here to share some information about Lift the Label. So thanks for inviting us, and we'll be doing that shortly after you all finish up as a business.
I'm Shadia Lemus. I'm here with the Behavioral Health Administration. Work very closely with Katelyn and the Aberle team on our Lift the Label campaign. So we're excited to share materials and information in English and Spanish today.
Perfect, thanks, glad you guys could join us. So I'm gonna kick it to those of you online and, I think it's Kristen. It looks like maybe you're joining in place of Calandra since she is on vacation. So if you wanted to introduce yourself, when, it gets to you, and maybe I'll just kick it straight to you if that's okay, since I've already, introduced you, but go ahead and let us know who you are and what your role is at the BHA since you're new to the group. And Richard, good to see you again. Glad you were able to join. I'll be, yeah, good to hear from you. So go ahead, Kristen.
Okay, I'm not sure. I think you're, oops,
Is that
I think you're, are you talking to me or someone else?
Oh, you.
Okay, yeah. I'm Kirsten. I work at the Office of Suicide Prevention. I'm actually filling in for Catherine today, who's on like off gallivanting, I think, in Mongolia on horseback. So she's living the dream life. So I'm just filling in for her today. I'm joining from Denver, but I grew up on a cattle ranch. So kind of why she asked me to come to this group today. I have taken Comet training before, and they were actually trying to do it in the lens of engaging young people, since a lot of peer-to-peer, there's a lot of peer-to-peer support, and young people are wanting more training on how to support young people. So I think the time, limit, or the time that the training takes is also a big strength of the Comet training, that it's not like so many of our other kind of community helper trainings that are like 4 to 8 to 2 days worth of content. So yeah, again, kind of like what other people have said, just super approachable and good for anyone. Thanks.
Thanks, Kirsten, and sorry, your name is blurry, and so I'm old and couldn't see it fully, but glad you're
No,
able
you're
to join.
fine. All
Great.
good. Thanks.
MJ, we'll kick it over to you.
Me? Sorry.
Yep.
Hi, MJ Guzman. I'm a field representative for the for the National Farm Workers Job Program. So we aid in school tuition and job training. I am calling from Rocky Ford today. This is my area, Southeast Colorado. So.
Awesome. And MJ, is there a training that you've been a part of or seen, particularly maybe with farm workers, that you really appreciate?
This one, yeah, and then, well, the one that we're gonna be creating subcommittee soon. I'm not too familiar with Comet, but I am more interested in learning and bringing that to this area. But so far, just the work that we've been doing along with Katelyn with the Suicide Prevention Office, so.
Great. All right, Richard, I'm gonna move up to you.
Hi, I'm Richard Harlan. Hope my mic is working.
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I work with the Ute Mountain Reservation here in Southwest Colorado. It's as southwest as you can get. We go all the way to the Four Corners. Mayak Deguvin, which is hello, my friend in Ute. I have not worked with the Comet yet, but I look forward to everything that I've heard other people saying about it. Sounds like right up my alley, like something that I'm interested in. Definitely interested in opening the conversation here on the reservation. Just to try to get, we have a huge farm and ranch operation, and that's not, as you know, typically they are underserved in mental health. So yes, hello from the Ute Mountain tribe, not to be confused with Southern Ute, which is our sister tribe. Hopefully they're on board with this as well.
Right on. Thanks, Richard. Glad you could join. JC, I'm going to move up to you.
All right, thank you. JC Parika, Valley-wide Health Systems in La Junta, Colorado. But I'm getting ready to transition to a new employer, Access Health Systems in Durango, in the next month. So I will be moving from La Junta to Durango. So we will be moving Comet to Southwest Colorado. It is available in Southeast, it is available in South Central, and it'll be available in Southwest in the next probably 60 days. The last Comet training I put on was actually last week in Monte Vista for the Colorado Potato Administrative Committee. We had 10 potato growers in Monte that trained in Comet. So Richard, I'll be looking you up when I finally get my new place in Durango, and we'll get you trained up.
That sounds good. I've been a resident
That's exciting news. Look forward to hearing more about your new role over there. Julie, moving across to you.
Hi, yes, my name is Julie Elliott. I'm a behavioral health specialist with the Colorado Extension. Sorry, I have stuff going on around me. So Colorado Extension Services Agribility Program. I'm normally located home bases in Grand Junction. I cover all of Western Colorado with my position, but today I'm calling from Steamboat Springs, a glorious hotel room here. And I'm here visiting with the Colorado Cattlemen's Association annual meeting. So that's why I'm here, but thank you. And yeah, I think that's it.
Hey, Julie, I missed you. Did you see me there yesterday? I was thankful CCA invited me to present on our work group's activities for their policy committee meeting. So I
did not see you yesterday, or I would have said hi.
Yeah, so I was really thankful that CCA is really engaged in this process and they wanted to hear more about the work group meeting. So they asked me to present to one of their committees. So thanks for taking the time to be there.
Yeah. And Julie, I know that you have presented comment a bit over on the Western Slope. Is there anything about the comment training that you find that people like or that you really appreciate?
I think that what people like the most is just really how easy it is. The training, how easy it is to learn the steps that the comment training teaches, and it really is in layman's terms, so anyone can understand the concept behind it.
Right on, thanks. All right, Jacob. Heading to you.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. I'm Jacob Walter. I'm an associate director at Colorado State University Pueblo. That's where I'm coming from you today. I don't think that didn't make sense. Anyways, that's where I'm from. That's where I'm at today. It's been a day. I live in Fowler, and I'm representing kind of the ag producer background. Grew up raising on the cow-calf operation. And I have had a bit of experience with Comet. And I have a lot of friends in Monte Vista and Alamosa and throughout the San Luis Valley. And I know that the work JC's been doing over there with those folks has been very impactful and very well received.
Awesome, thanks. All right, so the next section on we need to approve minutes from last meeting. I hope everybody was able to look those up. I'm not seeing it on this agenda, but I know before we move on that maybe I'm missing it. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to add to this agenda or that needed to be edited from the last meeting minutes?
The only addition I have, Chad, is that I was present but late. Casey stepped in for me, but I was eventually at the meeting. That's all.
Excellent. We'll get that adjusted. Rosie gave us thumbs up.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you, JC. And then anything for today, we've got a pretty busy agenda for the second hour. Some folks, like I said, from the CDA will be joining us here in a minute. But before we get there, the subcommittees were formed. Chad is spearheading the first one on best practices. Catherine Harvey, who's not able to join, her group met, and that is on data collection. And then I will be stepping in and taking on the outreach committee. And so I had it pulled up. If you haven't signed up, please go to that work plan document and put your name in there. I know Mike's not on here, Michael Orzano, but I need to reach out to him. But if you haven't heard from Chad, Catherine, or myself, and you wanted to participate on one of those subcommittees, please put your name on that list and reach out to whoever is heading that up. Kirsten, I'm guessing that Catherine didn't leave you anything to report on the meeting that they had, but did anybody attend that's here? Chad did. Is there any highlights that you wanna share that you guys discussed, maybe next steps that you're working on or what's going on?
We just kind of broke down the different sections within that article or that area. And kind of assigned different dyads to kind of work on different sections of it.
Okay,
And we have some rough deadlines of when we're putting things together. So like Catherine and I will compare notes on different databases and resources we use to get demographic information, county information, things like that. I don't remember what Mike and others were specifically working with, but it's all laid out in the document. We have future meetings set and some benchmarks for ourselves.
oh wow, okay, great. And then anything that you wanna say regarding the data or the best practices group? I know that you and Yulissa didn't get a chance to meet yet, but.
No, so I mentioned last month that there's some couple different systematic reviews that the basic conclusion is that there's just simply not enough evidence and evaluation data to support a lot of this outreach that's being done specific to ag populations. So two things come from that. One, I think it highlights the data evaluation piece that Catherine's harboring up, or Catherine is heading up, because I think that's gonna be pretty crucial going forward. And then Julissa and I will just continue to review everything from 2023 forward to see if there's anything that emerges as having sufficient outcome data. If
Perfect.
not, then I think we'll just compose it like a catalog and say, these are the range of options we've seen. And whatever we do, if we can put that evaluation piece to it, then hopefully we can move the needle.
Great.
That's about it.
And then for the last group, the engage and outreach, MJ, I was going to mention to you, I know that you signed up as under the personal subcommittee responsible, but they added another column that says sign up here. So if you wanted to be on that subcommittee, if you could also add your name right there, I'll make sure that you get added to the email list since I'm taking that on. I was just reviewing and noticed that you and Mike both signed up under the column E, but they added a column F. So anyway,
Okay, I'm gonna add my
wanted to
name.
confirm that you wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Clinton so I signed up under Kelly.
Yep.
Is she?
And I will follow up with you all this next week with when we'll be meeting. I'll be taking on that subcommittee. And the one thing with that subcommittee that I will say, we at the Agribility Project, we were able to get a graduate student that's part of public health at CSU, and she wanted to do her capstone on helping us update our statewide map of ag behavioral health providers and services across the state. So she's going to be working on that this summer, and that's a part of this subcommittee. So hopefully we'll have a working document for that maybe by the next time we meet. And I want to share that with everybody on this group so that if there's anything we're missing, you guys can add it before we get it updated on our GIS map that we're creating as well. So that's the only update that I have for that. I'll connect with Callie. Callie's also on vacation somewhere. I don't know where, but I'll connect with her when she gets back in town. And anybody else have anything on this working document before I kindly turn the mic over to Commissioner Greenberg, who just walked into the room?
Nice timing.
That was good timing. Anybody got any subcommittee stuff?
You should have had some drum roll.
I know.
Walk out to.
Open it up. Okay, well, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Catherine, Chad, or myself around those subcommittees. And with that, I'm going to welcome Kate Greenberg, our Agriculture Commissioner here in Colorado, and give her the floor to talk to us a little bit about what's going on here at the CDA.
Super.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
Kate, this is the this is about 2/3 of the Ag Behavioral Health Working Group.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, thank you all for being a part of this. This is a really special thing that we get to do at CDA, and it's very special to have all of you participating as members of this committee. I particularly want to thank Robert and Rosie for their amazing leadership. Yes, round of applause to the guys. Yeah, we are very lucky. And both of them, actually, we like to give new job titles to periodically. They're capable of many things. So we're grateful that Robert is our Ag Water Policy Advisor, is also leading this work here, and that Rosie, who's doing so much in conservation and soil health and our work with stewardship, is able to do this work as well. So I'll just kind of give a broad brushstrokes of what's going on, and then we'll love conversation if we have time for that. And hopefully you'll see how kind of everything we're focusing on does tie back to behavioral mental health, and how mental health ties into what we're doing in other sort of sectors. So I think you all are kind of familiar with CDA. I won't go into kind of who we are, but briefly, we have, just structurally speaking, we're about 360 people, 9 programmatic divisions, added our 9th last year, which is the Division of Animal Welfare. So, you know, it's everything from animal welfare, our state veterinarian, to our scales, our labs across the parking lot, the Palisade Insectary, which we're actually celebrating the 80th year of this year for beneficial insect. It's our bug ranch, essentially, out on the western slope. So just the diversity of what we get to do at CDA is immense, and it's a whole lot of fun. It's neat just to see kind of our stickers on scales at the grocery store, that what we do impacts not just ag, but every consumer in Colorado. So a lot of our consumer protection work is really core to what we do, and making sure people are getting what they're paying for and being well taken care of. So in addition to the day-to-day work, we have been given the opportunity by Governor Polis to really think big about what do we want to do for the future, and what do we want to do beyond what we're obligated to, but what the industry and the communities we work for might benefit from. So we've really been focused on 5 kind of key areas of work for the last 6 or so years. So you all have probably heard me at various times talk about this, but it matters to kind of talk about it as a whole, because in my mind, I mean, you all in ag know you can't do one thing without affecting all the rest. So the system that we operate here is just like that. It's holistic, it's all interconnected. So the first kind of area of focus is around market access, market development. If farmers and ranchers can't make a living, then we're not going to be talking about soil health and conservation and all the rest. So we do that through a number of ways. You know, Colorado Proud, one of our kind of traditional programs, our international markets program. I actually just got back from Vancouver, British Columbia last week. Very interesting time to be talking trade in Canada, but they did still talk to us. So that was a positive. But no, a lot of kind of sub-national excitement right now, to say, you know, the province of British Columbia and the state of Colorado have a lot in common. And so we're doing a lot of work kind of at that level. Still, welcome, Ben. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
This is your 3rd board meeting at CDA.
Yeah. I love board meetings.
That's right. You have to in your line of work. But that's a lot of what we do too, is kind of taking Colorado companies abroad, bringing companies here, and actively opening markets for our producers. So John and Ashley on our international team don't go to a trade mission without coming back with real sales. And typically those sales are in the 7 figures for our companies who join us. We are also really working to connect that priority of market access, making money in ag, with our work in conservation. So we've launched a climate smart marketing program. So for producers who are trying new things, taking the risk of a new crop or a new practice, we want to help absorb some of the risk by developing markets with them, in addition to the conservation support we're trying to provide. So that's number 1, market access, helping farmers make money. Number 2, voluntary stewardship. So for those of you who have been part of our soil health program, that's kind of, in my mind, the flagship program here that we built in our conservation division. Again, built by farmers and ranchers, coalition that was formed in one of these conference rooms 6 years ago or so. And that has been such an amazing journey. We went from being denied $100,000 in the state legislature to having over $30 million at one point in time for the program. I say one point in time because, as Rosie well knows, We had the $25 million Climate Smart Commodities grant canceled, terminated by the USDA. So while that happened about 2 years early from the end of the grant, we have been planning for the end of that one-time grant. And so this year we were able to get ongoing state level funding from the state legislature, which includes 2 full-time employees for that program. Last year we passed the Ag Stewardship Tax Credit, which comes into effect next year. We're working with the Colorado Water Conservation Board on some resiliency funding for pilot projects around crop switching and drought resiliency. So we've really been trying to build kind of a sustainable policy landscape that's Colorado centric, and the one-time grants help us. Obviously it's a scale of money we can't find at home, given our budget. But structurally speaking, we've really been focused on shoring up what we believe what we're committed to and what we believe in here in Colorado. So those are the first 2: market access conservation, farmer-led conservation. The third is supporting beginning farmers and ranchers. So our work, I see Aldo out there on the video. Hopefully you all know Aldo Parra. Aldo has done just an absolutely outstanding job here at CDA, building a brand new ag worker services program, bringing on 2 fantastic colleagues, and really situating CDA to be part of the resources that ag workers can rely on. So we're really looking at, in my mind, how to engage young people and people new to agriculture wherever their starting place is. So you're 7th generation rancher, you've never been on a farm before, anywhere in between, we want to be able to find you if you want to be in ag and bring you into ag some way or another. So for instance, our labs launched a STEM program where they bring middle and high schoolers to the labs to learn about the science of agriculture. They actually do hands-on food safety testing. They can work in our metrology lab. They learn about foreign animal disease traceability, and they've just launched an online curriculum for school districts around the state. From there, kind of going down the career pipeline, we've got a paid apprenticeship program, the Ag Workforce Development Program. This year, we're looking at close to 70 apprentices in the field. So that program has been in place, the legislation passed in 2018. So since the 2019 growing season, we've been able to get between 40 and 70 young people every year, paid experience on the land, which is a big deal. And then we've also got our beginning farmer, our Ag Future Loan Program, which prioritizes beginning farmers or those first-time borrowers who have a hard time getting their foot in the door. In the first year of that program, we financed about 82 borrowers, and 70% of whom were beginning farmers and ranchers who use that loan for land access primarily. And then the program Aldo's building, we're also launching a pilot with Aldo and our markets team for ag workers who are interested in becoming ag business owners. So what does it look like to go from A to Z and all the steps in between, and Aldo's leading that. And then of course, Mark Gallegos in our ICS division oversees the succession planning work that we do. So if you think about kind of career pipeline from middle school STEM education to succession planning, we're trying to be a part of all of it, but by no means all of it. So we're one small part in a very robust landscape of people doing this work. So that's number 3. Number 4 is animal health and welfare. Animal health probably goes without saying. Our state veterinarian, Dr. Maggie Baldwin, we've got the best in the country. And I'm not the only one who says that, so we have to work to keep her. But of course, she's led our high path avian influenza outbreak response for the last 3 years. But as I mentioned in the previous board meeting, our state vet and her team are always in one cycle of emergency response. So we're either planning for something, we're responding to something, or we're recovering from something. And so while we're taking a breath from high path right now, we are doing planning for New World screwworm, which is a nasty bug that has been making its way north from Central America, is now in Mexico, and has led the USDA to halt livestock imports from Mexico. And then on the welfare side, I mentioned our latest division is our Division of Animal Welfare. We combined 2 regulatory programs that already existed under one umbrella and are adding some non-regulatory work like grants, equine welfare work under that division as well. And then also within that is our work on non-lethal conflict mitigation, especially around wolf reintroduction. So we've helped launch a range rider program with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. We've got folks out on the landscape who are deployed as range riders, as educators, helping hang flagery, helping our livestock community coexist in this new environment. And then lastly, those are the top four, but number 5 is mental health. And just like the first one, if farmers can't make money, farmers aren't healthy and able to get the resources they need. What does soil health and animal well, what does all the rest matter, right? So the work you all are doing is really integral to, again, that kind of holistic landscape of where we're investing our staff resources, our time, our hearts, our energy here at CDA. This work has changed over time because it's always been, again, one-time grant related. So we've adapted to what the funding environment has allowed us to do. Starting with, the crisis hotline collaboration about a decade ago, training the call takers and ag specific needs, to the NIFA grants where we have sub-grantees, many of you here. The legacy film tour last year, which was amazing. I think we had like 80, how many people? 85 people in Durango. You guys were there. Yeah. And Robert was all over the state and just amazing, and hosting community dinners. I know many of you online were at a lot of these too. Thank you for being part of that. Those were amazing. They were so vulnerable and people really, I think, took us up on the invitation to be honest in a very public setting. And so there's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to be stressed about. And I haven't even talked about the landscape beyond what we can control right now. There's a lot going on and there's a whole lot of uncertainty. And that often gets internalized and stuffed away because there's enough to do beyond taking care of our feelings about things. Except that there comes a time when you can't control it anymore. So that's just to say, this work, again, foundational, all the other work that we do, figuring out how to take care of ourselves, our communities, both from an access to resources standpoint, but also being able to have a conversation. And that's a really big deal. So I will pause there and see if you guys got time for conversation and where you want to take it.
Yeah, first off, thanks for prioritizing this and for giving us all the opportunity to participate in this. I know there was legislation and through your support, we were all able to be a part of this group. So thank you for that. And yeah, I think we do have time if people have questions or if there's, direction that you want to go. I want to introduce Ben Rainbolt, who just joined us as a community member, but also the director of Rocky Mountain Farmers Union, is now here with us. And Aldo, I saw that you joined online, and we're going to hear from you in just a second after this conversation. So thanks for joining. But does anybody from the working group or community have questions that you have for Commissioner Greenberg that regards anything that she shared or about further behavioral health support from Colorado Department of Ag or the state?
Just any of the talking points that you mentioned, is there like a flyer or anything that kind of is putting out that information or anything that we can get access to?
Absolutely. We'll distribute that through the whole working group, through Robert and Rosie. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And then in the chat, I did put a link to the department's web page, so you can find some of that information on our website as well.
So if there's specific things, MJ, be sure to reach out to Robert and Rosie. They'd be able to get that information to you.
I will. Thank you.
Really, thanks, Kate, so much. Just joining the department, it's really impressive to see your dedication to behavioral health, and just so you all know, they offer a mental health first aid to us as employees. I had the opportunity to take it. I really appreciate that opportunity and really investigating now whether we can also offer comment training to some of them. So thanks to the department's dedication in that area.
Any other thoughts or questions from folks online or here in person?
Well, let me just wrap up by saying we learn from all of you. So, and I am an ultimate generalist. I am an expert in nothing. And that means that those of you who are expert and who do this for a living, really, we are here to listen and take in what you know from the work that you do. And then hopefully that informs what we're able to build here together at CDA. And that's a lot of what we've done in our other programs that we've built over the last many years. So just thanks for honestly contributing and for spending time helping build this work together. It means a lot to us. And I might just sit around for a little while.
Please do. Yep. No, thanks for joining. And Aldo, I'm gonna turn it over to you to share a little bit about the program that you're running and about your two colleagues that you've hired on the Eastern Plains and Western Slope of Colorado to do the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
We gotcha.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to thank Robert, the committee, and Rosie for giving us opportunity to talk about ag workers and the work that we're doing through Ag Worker Services. As you mentioned, I am the Ag Worker Services Program Manager, a new program within CDA. We've been around for about 2.5 years and just doing a lot of, I think, outreach and just kind of connecting, being kind of a bridge program between producers, ag workers, and service providers. Initially, when we started the program, our thought process was, how do we develop a program to serve over 40,000 ag workers in Colorado and almost the same amount of ag producers? So very tall order, something that we're really excited to develop and get that information out to ag workers. The first task that we started with was getting information on agricultural worker rights to workers across Colorado and helping producers with how to be compliant with some of these new labor laws and rights that were given to ag workers. After, I think, a lot of different conversations with different stakeholders across Colorado, we seen that the need that was asked from us was larger than that. So we created a safety net to be able to get information to producers and ag workers across Colorado on different topics, but specifically labor rights, labor law, state agencies and local agencies, and the services that were out there in our communities. We also partnered with, I would say, about 10 state agencies and a lot of local agencies to help address and connect our producers and ag workers to topics like health, safety, labor, supportive services, and other needs that were kind of addressed and kind of told to us that was a need on farms in Colorado. So I think that was the genesis of the program. We were able to get to more staff members that help us cover Eastern Colorado and Western Colorado and address some other industry issues like how to work with ag workers that are in livestock and then kind of focus on fruit and vegetables as well. I want to thank you for this conversation, just because I think the intersection between ag workers and behavioral health is something that is highly needed. I think underaddressed, and there just really isn't a lot of data. Today, I'll give you kind of information of boots on the ground that we're getting from ag workers, that we've been receiving from ag workers, and kind of what their situation is in Colorado. This year is extremely difficult for ag workers just because of the different raids, the different, I think, distrust now that there is out there with government. I think there was an issue initially, I think, with our outreach efforts and the department's support and the different programming that we had out there. We're really building a lot of these different relationships and opportunities to have this conversation and how to make Colorado agriculture strong, and in particular ag workers, how to make them feel safe, how to make them be safe, learn about heat stress and a lot of these different things that their new rights under SB 87 gave them this opportunity to kind of have in Colorado. But I'll share with you all on this intersection between ag workers and behavioral health, things that we are hearing on the ground directly from ag workers and our service agencies that we have in Colorado. I think the first thing is just for us ag workers, we serve all ag workers. There's certain agencies that focus on seasonal, some on migrant, some on livestock workers. We encompass the full definition of ag workers, from farm workers, ranch hands, seasonal labor, seasonal and migrant workers, H-2A workers. That's kind of the spectrum of workers that we address and work with. Some of the key, I would say, issues and challenges that we are getting from ag workers when it comes to behavioral health and kind of some of the mental health challenges, I would say, is high stress and anxiety, especially right now with a lot of the anxiety and fear that is out there in our communities. Workers are extremely, stressed out. That anxiety of going to work, sending their kids to work is very serious. It's something that is hitting really hard in some of these communities, regardless of documentation. We have some workers who are documented, some who aren't documented, and the fear is almost the same. So that's something new this year. But historically, a lot of high stress and anxiety due to economic uncertainties, sometimes to the long hours, physical strain and isolation that we see, and that's reported to us by workers. Depression is very common among our migrant workers and our H-2A workers. A lot of this is due to kind of that separation from family, from being away from family and home from a really long time. Some difficult living conditions, and then low autonomy is something that we get reported from ag workers. Suicide risk is a serious concern. Unfortunately, I think since I've been here at CDA, we've had multiple incidents that occurred among our ag workers committing suicide. From what we know and what is reported to us by our service providers that do behavioral health among ag workers, is that it's usually among male workers, not necessarily our female workers. Substance abuse is something also that we see, we kind of work with. Unfortunately, it's a coping mechanism for stress, for pain, for depression among our ag workers. And a serious challenge that we have is barriers to treatment. There really isn't a lot of access, a lot of different organizations currently that work particularly with ag workers. There are some statewide that provide treatment, but that has been, I think, one of the challenges that we see among ag workers. Other barriers to care, language. We have some amazing behavioral health therapists and organizations across Colorado, but sometimes the language part of it, particularly in Spanish or some of our indigenous languages that we encounter, there isn't the care for a particular language. Among that, obviously, cultural differences of how your ag workers perceive care or mental health or behavioral health is also a big barrier. Immigration status, like I mentioned before, is huge, has been huge, but this year in particular has really eroded a lot of the different trusts that we've developed over the years with ag working communities. Limited transportation is a barrier, but also clinic hours. I think sometimes with our ag workers working really long hours from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. or later or shorter sometimes, and having clinics typically do a 9 to 5 hours, it has been extremely difficult for our ag workers. Lack of health insurance has also been very difficult, is getting them getting them health insurance, getting connected to either a discount, Medicaid, or whatever insurance are available for our ag workers. And I'll kind of end it with this because we only had 5 minutes to present and kind of open it up to questions. It's just the stigma about mental health in rural and some of our ag working communities is also still a very big and serious barrier that we see among ag workers. So I'll end there. I could speak a lot more and kind of provide more information, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
Awesome. Thanks, Aldo. And real quick, you mentioned your two colleagues in the East and West. If people wanted to get in touch with you or them, what's the best way? I don't know if you could put it in chat if they had questions about services or access. Is that something that we could share?
Oh, absolutely. I'll put it in the
Great.
chat. I'll put my phone number, email, for any follow-up, any connections to ag workers and behavioral health, or even just health in general. I'll be happy to help out anybody who is needing that assistance.
Thanks for that. And I know Elissa, who was here earlier and had to leave, she works a lot with the agriculture worker population as well as MJ. And so those contacts would be really great. Does anybody have any questions for Aldo based on what he said or what he shared already?
No questions, but I'd love to team up and talk more, especially like you said, the language barrier is a big one. So I'm trying to get to work on all the translations and everything that's going to be coming out of this group. So yeah, we got to make sure that the message is just right to impact as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
AC out of Lahana, work for Valley White Health Systems. We have 2 mobile vans that go out and do health screens at the actually at location. So if there's anybody in eastern Colorado that you think we need to reach to set up visits outside the clinics and more either in the warehouses, distribution centers, or actually in the field, so people feel safe, more safe, let us know. For example, we do have 75 seasonal farm workers scheduled for July 15th with Terracotta Farms in Rocky Ford. So we have the ability to go to the workers if they're concerned about going to facilities based on the current political climate.
And I appreciate that. That's probably one of the best practices, is trying to set up those meetings in safe places. So yeah, definitely appreciate that. But I will follow up with both you and MJ. That way we could definitely connect. Before I end, I just wanted to relay just an interesting study that Delta Hospital is doing in Delta, Colorado, with ag workers and mental health. They're conducting a community resilience model sessions with ag workers starting here in the fall. Something that we are definitely keeping an eye out and kind of really learning more than anything about the need of ag workers in Western Colorado. So more to come. Be happy to connect you guys with the people there at the hospital and the director of these sessions with ag workers for behavioral health. So like I said, I'll follow up with Robert regardless.
Great, thanks, Aldo.
Yeah, that'd be great, Aldo, because part of the main purpose of this effort is really to identify the gaps in behavioral health. We'll be putting an annual report together, presenting it to the legislature. So I really would love your input in this area.
And then, Aldo, this is Shadia with the Behavioral Health Administration. I'm here with Katelyn as well. And we'd love to connect with you as well. We have a lot of Spanish language services that are free of charge, that are virtual and safe spaces as well. So we'd just like to share those with you.
I appreciate it. And anything in Spanish right now would help out tremendously for our ag workers. Thank you.
Right on. Yes, please.
So obviously you can see just the breadth of work Aldo and his team are doing. They're also in the field all the time. So if he's in a community that you live in, please do connect. I also want to note that we have attending Nick Purchase. If y'all know Nick, she is down in Pueblo County, farmer, just amazing food systems advocate, doing a lot of things, but she's also one of our 4 regional assistant commissioners. So a couple years ago, we took one full-time position, broke it into 4 very part-time, and brought on 4 working farmers and ranchers to be part of our senior team. So Nick is one of 4, and she's just doing incredible work in the food system, advocating for farmers and ranchers as a farmer herself. Didn't know if Nick wanted to jump in and say a few words. She's usually doing a few things at once. So if now's not a great time, I totally get it, but just want to make sure that you all know Nick as well.
Thank you, Kate, for the introduction. Sorry, I've been trying to talk to Robert via our CDA text chat because it was muted for guests online. But the only something that JC just brought up about having those mobile units. I don't know if you know Sister Nancy, who runs Las Pobles in Avondale, Colorado. They're opens on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This would be a really good place to probably set up one of those mobile facilities, as a bunch of the agricultural workers from Pueblo through Rocky Ford are using the services there. And they could, and Sister Nancy is very protective of all those that come there. It is a heavily Spanish-speaking community only that's attending this center on those 2 days. But it'd be worth trying to talk to her and see if you could get a unit out there, because I'm sure that would be a good place. Also, Aldo, if you guys could get information out to a lot of those folks. That's a site where you're going to see them all at.
Thanks, Nick.
Sorry, not
All
sorry
right.
that I don't have anything, but I'm happy to be here. This is a very important topic to me. I've lost 2 friends already this year, and even myself, I fluctuate in and out of being a first-gen farmer and the 4 jobs I have and all the things I do to try and support the agriculture community, myself and my family. So I appreciate the work being done here. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you being online and supporting. Does anybody else have any questions for Kate or Aldo before we move to the next section of our agenda? Really appreciate both of you taking the time to
Thanks, Kate.
share with us about the work that you're doing. And Aldo, feel free to stick around. I'm going to pass it on now to Katelyn and Shadia, who are going to be talking to us about a BHA campaign called Lift the Label.
Going to, oh, I can't screen share.
Yeah, sorry. I have to share Rosie.
Rosie.
We're about to make Rosie a co-host.
What?
Okay, good to go now? There we go. There we go. All right, well, thank you so much for having us. I'm Katelyn Aberle. I work for Online Company, which is a communications agency, and we work with the Behavioral Health Administration on a few different programs, but we're here today to talk to you all about Lift the Label, and give a little bit more information about that, and hopefully share some resources that you can take back to your communities. I will let Shadia introduce herself and then kick us off.
Okay, great. I'm Shadia Lemus. I'm with the Behavioral Health Administration and I work on all the marketing campaigns of BHA. So we're excited to talk to you about Lift the Label today, that provides resources in English and Spanish. Okay, so a little bit of the campaign overview. The campaign did kick off in 2018 and it has been working to provide awareness and education of substance use disorder as a way to remove stigma and increase access to treatment resources in Colorado. So that's kind of the whole focus of Lift the Label. And our audiences are loved ones and then individuals with substance use disorder. So throughout the campaign, we have a lot of different educational information, tips on how to support someone if they are suffering from SUD, treatment resources, and then we film a lot of stories across the whole state, telling real life stories. Katelyn's going to share a little bit more about that in a little bit, and there's a lot more on the website as well. Another part of our campaign is the Recovery Cards Project. So this is something that kicked off in 2019. And they're cards that were created to spotlight the importance of recovery. And so we've been working with artists in Colorado and nationwide to develop these cards. Many of them have been in recovery themselves. And so yeah, we've worked with 35 different artists all across the country, and we produced 72 cards. They're all available on the Lift the Label website through the Recovery Cards Project, so you could order up to 10 at a time through the website or through us, and a different link, you can order up to 150 and have them available on site wherever your location is as well. So we've distributed over 165,000. We have these cards at events all the time. Those are the images that you see at events. So we try to be at events all throughout the state. These cards are complimentary, so people can just take them home with them. And then also at the events, you can kind of see that little pink box there on the screen. So we do ask people to fill out cards. Someone's filling out a card there to write words of encouragement to someone in recovery. And so we've been collecting hundreds of those cards at the events. And we distribute them statewide as well. So if there's ever an opportunity in your community where people could benefit from those cards, we do collect them, and we kind of sort through them and would give you the cards that are appropriate. So
and we do have cards in Spanish.
We have cards in Spanish, yes. And
I have a comment online that says the sloth is by far everyone's favorite.
the sloth is a really fun one. We'll be launching 8 new cards in September. We're super excited for that. And it's actually a little bit of a collaboration with the governor's office too. Next year is the state's 150th anniversary and the country's 250th anniversary. So we have some commemorative cards in there. And so we're excited to launch those in September. Cool. So a little bit about the campaign. There are different components and tactics that we have in market. We have a paid media campaign. So for the most part, that's running throughout most of the year. We do everything from billboards to online ads to streaming TV ads, which you're going to see some of those today. We have earned media. So again, as we identify people to work with across the state, we work with them to media train them, plug them into different media opportunities so we could kind of spread the word about the campaign, the resources that are available both in English and Spanish. So if Aldo's still on the line, we have so many interviews that have been conducted in Spanish that are quite powerful. So if that's helpful in your community, we're happy to share those too. We have a lot of owned media. So the website is liftthelabel.org. And then it's in Spanish. You can go to that site, click on this in Espanol, but that URL is demoslaetiqueta.org. We have social media. We have a partner newsletter, so that's sent out about once a month. It has different resources, social media posts that you can post and market, and then links to additional resources as they become available for anyone across the state. And then community outreach, that is just a big focus of ours, whether we're at events, passing out cards, or partnering with different organizations. So like the Aberle, we did create a link on the Lift the Label website that connects back to your resources too. So yeah. So we're always looking for partnership opportunities like that. And we are in Broomfield today. I want to say Broomfield is a great partner. They've wanted to amplify some of the efforts, so they do amplify some of our VHA programs in Broomfield and Boulder. And then we also have a special program with the Southern Youth as well. So.
All right, so most applicable to this group, we have always tried to have a wide range of people as part of our campaign, sharing their stories, whether it's individuals who are in recovery from substance use disorder or their loved ones sharing their stories, sharing how they may have overcome barriers or stigma to find recovery. We wanted to make it really accessible to anybody in Colorado who sees the campaign to say, hey, I identify with that person. If they can get into recovery, so can I. So I can do it. And we had a lot of conversations over the past few years with some organizations in more rural agricultural areas, and just about especially the visuals of the campaign maybe not being quite as accessible for more rural areas. And so we were able to get a grant last year to develop more rural focused assets and document these recovery stories from across the state. So if you've seen any of our campaign videos before, a lot of them are very much like in a studio, somebody talking to a camera, very impactful still in the words, but maybe not as impactful in terms of visuals for somebody to tie it back to their specific community. Maybe they're saying, hey, that's just Denver, things like that. So we really made it a priority with this effort to travel across Colorado, going into people's communities and their lives. And we had 3 individuals that were so wonderful in opening up their stories, their homes to us, in Sedgwick, Craig, and Grand Junction. So tried to get a statewide reach, and we developed videos for each person and also shared their stories online as written components in our campaign story grid. If you go to our website, you can watch dozens of videos and read all of the very encouraging stories. But we're really, really excited to add these folks' stories just to create that extra link to maybe somebody that is seeing a tractor and they are able to identify and say, hey, I see that Jack got into recovery, so can I. And so we currently have a campaign running in market with some videos, some social media, some posters, and some digital banners. And then I'm going to share, I'm hoping that this video works and comes through. And so this is a video that encapsulates all 3 of these individual stories. They each also have their individual stories, so if you're interested, go check them out on the website. And then I'll talk a little bit more about other resources we have, but yeah, fingers crossed this plays through technology-wise.
Business is hard, and the stress was starting to get to me, and I didn't think I could get out of addiction. I knew there was something more for me than my drug addiction.
The journey to recovery is definitely not one size fits all.
You can't run from your addiction. It's a brain disease. In early recovery, there's stigma, and it's hard because, I drive 45 miles one way for services.
I feel like the people that I really needed were faced into my life. My sister, she is a huge part of my recovery.
Without my wife, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I am most grateful for people believing in me. It's huge for me.
If it wasn't for that kind of love, I would have had nothing to hold on to.
In the beginning it was hard, but now it's like, look at me, I'm alive and I can help others.
Okay, not the best sound quality or experience, but we will send out the video so you all can watch it. But hopefully you got at least a little bit of a taste of really what we're trying to get across with the campaign, and the messages that we're sharing of, hey, there's support out there, you can do it. We have resources available. We're here for you. And so also part of it, there we go, is different visuals and collateral resources that we, similar to the recovery cards, project cards, we mail them out for free. So if you're interested in like rack cards, or these are all posters from each one of our talents. We call them talent for lack of a better term. And they're movie stars when we go in and take videos of them. They're awesome. And so we have different pump cards for naloxone and resources on medications and a really wide variety of resources, including things for the craft program as well. And so that's a big part of Lift the Label, is really making sure that we provide these resources to the community and to different organizations. So first off, and I will drop links in the chat if Rosie has not already, to all of these things. But first of all, you can order Lift the Label materials completely free of charge. They'll ship them to you from our website. You can also order a free recovery cards project kit for your community. So as Shadia mentioned, we have a little card rack and 150 cards that we'll send to you that you can display at an office or an event or anything like that. You can collect cards, we'll distribute them. If you have a need for cards that are already written, we can also help you out with that. We also have a digital toolkit to easily share information. So it has some social media posts, some person first language graphics, some craft materials, things like that. We also, as Shadia mentioned, have a monthly newsletter, so we're always sharing new resources, spotlighting new stories, sharing media coverage of different things across the state. So that's a great way to get involved and just keep a pulse on what we're doing. We also post on Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow us there. And then we have our websites, liftthelabel.org and Quitemos la Etiqueta is the Spanish version, and recoverycardsproject.com, and then craftcolorado.org is for the community reinforcement and family training program that the BHA runs. That is for loved ones who have a loved one who is struggling with a substance use disorder. And so it's a support group and training group to help people minimize harmful substance use, increase communication, set boundaries, things like that. So we have a lot of resources. We always are looking for feedback or things that you might find useful for your community and for your needs. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Or if you have any questions or want to collaborate more, we would love to hear from you. So I will drop our emails also in the chat, but please don't hesitate to reach out, and we hope we can provide support for your community.
Yeah, I just want to add that with Craft Colorado, we did, though that is virtual, so we do have a lot of virtual sessions. So say a loved one is concerned about someone who's suffering from substance use disorder, that person's not ready for treatment, but they want to learn maybe new ways to connect with them or things like that. That whole craft resource and training gives you a lot of new tools to help out. So those are provided virtually too, so people can join in virtually, and we have them in Spanish as well, so.
Awesome, thank you guys so much. Any questions from anybody online or here in person for Katelyn or Shadia? And I can speak to the recovery card. Once they presented to Agribility and showed us these cards, we ordered some, and the display's awesome. The cards are super creative and cool, and people have really taken to the art, but they're very personable and, you know, really encouraging cards to send to anybody in recovery or somebody that you know is having a hard time.
Yeah, we enjoyed the recovery cards. They've been popular here. I was curious, the Lift the Label, were you guys the ones that, oh, I don't know if you can see that. They had these posters designed kind of like for men. This one says you can't fix your feelings with a bigger hammer. Was that the Lift the Label campaign that I got these?
No.
Sounds like man therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is probably man therapy. Yeah.
Richard,
It does.
can you hold it up again? We didn't see it a second ago. Did you have one there that you were holding up?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's some reason my whatever the background thing is being
Filter
weird.
is filtering it out. Yeah, that's fine.
It does say, I don't know if you can't see it. It does say man therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just, anyway, yeah, the only thing I just wanted to maybe add is maybe some Native American themed artwork, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to do that in the future. We have spoken with the Southern Ute Tribe before and put out kind of our call for artists to them, but if I can get your contact information, I will definitely let you know in the future when we're doing card designs and see if you have anybody that might be a good fit.
Sure, thanks. I'll
Yeah.
drop my email over here in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, if there's any other questions, you can reach out to Katelyn or Shadia. We're gonna keep moving forward and let Robert and Rosie give us any CDA updates that we might need regarding reimbursement, the summit, and the next meeting in Pueblo.
Thanks very much, Clinton, and thanks, guys. That was a great presentation. I logged on and I subscribed to the newsletter just now. So.
Yeah.
I
And
was
the
able
videos
to-
online are cool.
I haven't looked at the video
Well,
yet, so.
next.
And I think I'll order it for the Department bag. We should have one, so that'd be great. And then Rosie, can you make a note to see if we have a link on our website
Yeah, oh, that's a good point.
or our,
Thank you.
on our ag behavioral health website? We have a list of resources, so let's see if we can make sure that it's there. So reimbursement procedures, again, on the agenda was a link to those procedures. If anybody has any questions or problems, don't hesitate to reach out to Rosie or I. I'm happy to announce that the Ag Behavioral Health Summit RFP was awarded to Rocky Mountain Farmers Union. And so we have a meeting with them in a couple weeks. And we'll begin to plan that process, and definitely maybe we can have a agenda item on updates, what's going on with that, with the work group. July 22nd is our next month's meeting in July. That will be also a hybrid meeting, with the in-person being at CSU Pueblo. So we really appreciate them inviting us to be able to use the facility there. And then really looking for presentation ideas for that meeting. JC, I know at one point we talked with you about maybe making a presentation about some funding opportunities. Would you still be up for that?
Yeah, I think if I remember right, Robert, it was about who to approach about those opportunities as we go into the new Bahasos and regional accountable entities. So if that's what I recall, happy to talk about that.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. So just the communities, what in each individual communities, who they could may be able to reach out to. So any other ideas for presentations that they'd like to hear at the July meeting currently? Any off the cuff ideas? If not, within the next week or so, and we'll put in maybe in the email reminder. Rosie, let's put a reminder for ideas for the next meeting. The next meeting, tentatively, I wanted to check with you. We were gonna schedule it from 10 a.m. start time with an adjournment at 2:30 at 3. Does that sound fair to everybody?
Were we planning on doing a working lunch in the middle of that?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, probably, maybe not a working lunch.
like a stopping, eating lunch.
Yeah,
and then
I think that'd be
continue.
nice to have, for us to be able to visit with each other.
I think that was my bigger question, was lunch somewhere in between 10 and 2:30,
Yeah.
so, okay, good.
Yeah, so we'll provide lunch that day. So, yeah, we'll provide lunch, but yeah, I think we'll just have that time open for people to visit with each other.
That sounds perfect.
Don't fill up too much. I plan on bringing Rocky Ford cantaloupe and watermelon. We'll be right in the middle of the season.
Right on, thanks, JC.
Yes. I thought you're gonna be in Durango though. You're gonna go all the way to Rocky Ford from Durango.
Actually, I start the very next day in Durango, the 23rd.
So you'll be on your way.
That's right.
You'll be going from Rocky Ford, stopping in Pueblo, going to Durango.
Fill a U-Haul truck.
Nice.
That-
Oh, that'll be fantastic. I look forward to Rocky Ford Billings all the time, so if we put that on the agenda, we're gonna get good attendance.
I was gonna say we could coordinate, MJ and I could coordinate to help you, and then you said U-Haul truck.
Down, let's go.
That sounds great.
Let's go.
All right, so now we have the food taken care of.
That's right.
And so Rosie will be sending out the RSVP for the July meeting again, so we can sign up for lunch. Know how many lunches that we'll have to provide. Rosie, anything on your end?
That's it. On the RSVP form, though, I'll also add a suggestion box for presentation ideas. So you can submit both if you're attending, if you have any dietary restrictions, if you're gonna need reimbursement, and if you have any ideas, all in that one form. And I'll send that out with the meeting minutes and recording.
And hopefully with this extended meeting, there'll be some time of it dedicated to working maybe in our committee so that we can meet in person as well while we're there. And figure out how to logistically do that with the hybrid setup. We'll see how that works out. Today seemed to go smooth enough. Okay. So we're at 2:20, open for public comments. I don't know if there's been any questions that have come through for anybody in specific, or if anybody who is joining us online from the general public would like to ask a question, please drop it in the question answer function. And if anybody on the working group has anything that they would like to mention or ask about anything on the agenda or the next meeting, please come off mute and feel free to do so.
Don't see any questions online.
Okay.
I guess a question for you guys, it may go along with the subcommittee work, is that I'm totally new to this, not being in behavioral health at all. But starting to find out there's just a lot of the work going on in different areas. Has an inventory kind of been done of what's going on? How are you gonna do that in the subcommittee? I mean, is that a task that we would try to take on?
I think it's part of what we were looking at with the section that Catherine was overseeing. Was to try to get, cause I think, I don't have it right in front of me. But I think one of the wording on there was to look at gaps, look at the range of services that are out there and try to figure out. Where are the glaring holes and omissions that need to be adjusted for, so I feel like that's kind of part of it. And I feel like one of the things that was discussed was looking at sort of the mapping feature and, you know, that we already had some inroads.
Yeah, with Maeve's project and what we're doing. We do have, all 64 counties broken out and have started making an inventory of services that are available. I think that one thing that I'm hoping maybe we can come up with some homework for this next group, since it's, or next meeting, since it's gonna be a little bit more of a working meeting, that'll be longer, is, maybe for everybody to bring, you know, resources and programs so that we can start that compilation that Katelyn is working on putting together to figure out what are the gaps and what are the assets and kind of put them together. But I think that's a great thing for this group, Robert, to continue to be moving towards.
Yeah.
That's a strong deliverable that we can hope to move at.
Yeah, just definitely like with Aldo joining us today.
Yeah.
I think making those connections of what he's trying to provide and what's available.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think is critical. Perfect, thank you. Anything else online? Let's see. Oh, what's this? Okay.
Oh, and Rosie, you did drop that. Will you let everybody know what you dropped in the chat? I saw Robert drop the lift label in there earlier, and Caitlin, I don't know if this was you or.
That was me, it's with this.
You were acting as Rosie.
Yes, acting as Rosie.
Okay, because I know that Rosie did put that in
Oh,
our agenda,
okay.
and so we have those live links on the agenda, so everything that's there, I just didn't know if there was something additional.
The only one that I dropped that was maybe outside of that is our email addresses.
Yeah.
And then also the link to the video that didn't play right.
Oh, excellent. And then I guess, last thing, does anybody have any events that are coming up between now and the next meeting that you want to highlight for the group? And then also a reminder to please submit events in the event form that Rosie put a link to on the agenda. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that's going on in the next month that is a major event. I feel like that Ulysses big event already happened. I was gonna ask Aldo when he was on, I think Ricky told me that there was a big event going on somewhere out. I don't remember if it was in Greeley or Sterling or someplace, but it may have already happened as well.
The Grand Junction one just happened.
Oh, okay.
A couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Greeley was a lot earlier. I attended the Greeley one.
Oh, okay.
Callie was actually there.
Okay.
At the booth at that one. I think she might have gone to the Grand Junction. But I
Yeah.
can check with Aldo to see.
I meant to ask Alyssa, I thought that she had one, Rosie, that we talked about, but maybe it just happened the beginning of June.
Yeah.
I think so, okay. Anybody have any events? If you can't think of it now and wanna add it to the events page, it can be there.
Well, we just had the Ute Mountain Bear Dance. I wish I had the opportunity to invite you all down to participate in that. It's a 150-year-old social event here on the reservation. But the first weekend in August 1st through 3rd, is the Ute Mountain Powwow. There'll be a lot of dancers to see, a lot of games. It's open to the public, and it just is a really neat thing. Just thought I would throw that out to you guys.
Wow, that's awesome, Richard. Will you drop that into the event link on the bottom of the agenda so that we can all have access to that if it's a public event? All right, then, I think we did good. I can't see the time, but
We're in schedule.
right on schedule.
I think I'd like to clarify a little bit on the behavioral health summit.
Yeah.
Because there was a little bit of confusion on that. The legislation really directs the summit to be for those people that want to really help with behavioral health in their communities.
Ag organizations.
Yeah,
Or ag
focusing
serving
more on ag
organizations.
organizations,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's not necessarily a summit where, you know, individuals be coming. They're more than welcome to, it won't be closed event. But the idea, I think, behind the legislation was really to figure out having those ag organizations or ag communities come to learn about what's potentially available for them to offer in their communities.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they carry it on there, because I mean, we could open up an event and we could have 1,000 people there, you know, that would want to participate in behavioral health. But I think the concept there is just to get the organizations there to share it out and build it out kind of in this octopus network
Yeah.
throughout the community.
And that other one seems like a different event that I don't know that I've seen in other states or other organizations do next to Farm Aid, where it's really like and that's not even geared just at farmers and ranchers, but a big event for farmers and ranchers, and that's something to consider down the road that, you know, maybe the outreach committee can talk about.
Yep.
But
Maybe we can have cabling, and then maybe we can have, you know.
Yeah.
Your project there.
That's
presented,
right, that'll be good.
I think that.
And where's the summit gonna be? I'm sorry.
The
I mi-
location hasn't been decided yet.
Okay.
We'll let you know as soon as we know.
That's right. And it has to be sometime before the end of the year.
Right.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. Katelyn, Shadia, thanks for coming and presenting. Lovely to see you guys again. And take care. JC, we hope to see you in person on your way to Durango and eat some melons with you.
Jacob, I'll be reaching out to you about the location, make sure we're all squared away on AV and stuff, and then ordering food, figure out who to order food from.
Consuelo, thank you so much for your services today. Appreciate it. Julie, enjoy your time in Steamboat and hope the rest of that goes well. Everybody else, enjoy your summer until we see you in July, or yes, July 22nd. Yep, bye.
Thanks, everybody.
What's happening?
What are you?